right, so I'm driving from Miami to Tampa today. Was just at a network marketing event. Don't go to too many too often, but it's always good to shake hands. I think it's, a good component of balance for us as entrepreneurs and business owners. Now, I want today's focus of this video, it's going to be a little bit shorter, still at some length, but I really want to talk about the core success cycle I've seen with all business owners. And a lot of you guys are going on social media. Perhaps you already have a business or you're looking to get into business and you have no idea where to pivot or where to start. Because the problem is there's so much information that's inundated to you on the internet by so many different people who oftentimes, 9 out of 10 times at least, want your money. And so it's not necessarily that they have your best interest in mind, but it's that there's some sort of pipeline that they can plug you into that will magically solve all your problems in life and that'll make you rich overnight. And I think it's complete BS. And I think you guys probably agree that it's complete BS. So to avoid listening to someone who's trying to sell you something, instead you can come to this kind of video where I am just hopefully going to impart some useful knowledge to you in order to hopefully build my community. And of course that's in the hopes of scaling my own business and building a community around my brand and what I'm doing, but at value, right? So today I want to get into the cycle that I've seen for success no matter what industry you want to get into. And I often say that complex kills and simple wins in business, and it's true. If you overcomplicate things, you're not going to get as many leads, as many clients, or as many fulfillment results as possible in a certain gap of time because you're occupying that time with things that don't really matter. So I want to talk about this 5-step cycle that I've seen that basically guarantees success. Probably not today, probably not tomorrow or next week, probably not next month, but over the course compounding over months and years of actual effort and learning. So here's how the 5 steps go. Okay, number 1 is a problem. Number 2 is a skill. Number 3 is a test. Number 4 is a package. And number 5 is an automation. Okay? So once again, it's going to be problem, skill, okay? And then it's going to be test, then package, and then automate. All right? The first thing, skill. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through what each of these 5 things are. Feel free to take notes. Feel free to save this video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification down below to get more like this and add it to kind of your portfolio of things that you're following and documenting. Okay, so number 1 is going to be a problem. In order to succeed at anything, whether you're an entrepreneur, an intrapreneur, meaning someone who's entrepreneurial in the workplace, or an operator successful at your 9 to 5 or your career, okay, first you need to identify a real salient problem or issue that exists in the marketplace, and the best place to turn to is a gap. The best place to turn to is a place where in a specific submarket you are able to identify some other, or I should say a lack thereof of a solution, something that doesn't exist yet, right? Let's say for some reason that you ended up finding out that square tires perform better on the road. Now that's obviously not true, but let's say in a hypothetical parallel universe where all the same principles apply, you find out physically that square tires perform better than circular tires. Okay? You would probably go out of your way to disrupt the tire industry if you knew in that case that everyone was driving with circular tires, but that nobody had come out with square tires yet. So the first thing you want to do is identify a problem. Perhaps there's a lot of hurricanes and tornadoes where you live, and there's not a roofing company that actually has a roof that's strong enough that ties down to the home. Well, then maybe you can create a roofing company or create a concept, because we're in phase 1, which is a problem, identifying a problem. You can create a concept for a roofing design that's shackled down to the house that has 3 times the strength as conventional roofing designs. I don't know. Whatever you want to get into, service or product, identify a problem that you can solve and ideally look for gaps. And don't worry about intraoperative competition because it's going to exist anyways. So just work on, you're going to focus in the next 4 pillars of the cycle on making the best product or service ever. And the reason why I tout products so much is because it's much easier to follow this cycle and to iterate with much less cost and much higher return on your expenditure as a business owner. But I digress, okay? So number 2, now that you've got your problem on lock and you really understand it and you've surveyed people about it, number 2 is you're going to test. Okay? So, skill. Oh my God, what a hypocrite I am for, forgetting the step. Number 2 is a skill, okay? Once you've identified that you actually have a problem, that you want to solve a problem, and that there's a need for that problem, now you have to acquire the skill set necessary to solve that problem. This is where your solution starts to come to light. Step 3, which is testing, is where your solution comes to light. And I'll explain why. A lot of you guys think that you have the solution because you were mentored by an influencer online in a particular space, like marketing, for example, and you think that it's going to work 100% of the time when you fulfill for clients. Never. Things rarely work 30-40% of the time. So how do you succeed in business without hurting people? Well, you create backup plans. You create SOPs, standard operating procedures, and you develop them over life cycles of testing with your clients. So we'll get into step 3 in a sec, but a skill. How do you acquire a skill? In today's day and age, there's multiple ways to do it, but you have to be crafty. A lot of college is not worth it anymore. I have 2 engineering degrees, my bachelor's and master's in mechanical engineering up in Boston. And the reason I got those degrees is because I knew that skill set in engineering would allow me to have a successful career where I could retain the lifestyle I want while also pursuing tech that I love, right? And so I would argue that engineering, law, getting your doctor of medical, I would agree that those are a lot of the first principle. There will always be an evergreen need for those skill sets. You go to college. And ideally you go on a scholarship or a series of grants or a combination thereof. Reduce your debt. So how do you do that if you can't buy into college, you don't have that opportunity? Well, or maybe you're later in life and you're just like, man, that's a lot of energy. Well, there's so many certificates online. There's so many accredited board certificates for different careers that apply to certain skill sets online. Stuff that when you put that on your LinkedIn would make you just as appreciated as a degree. Plenty of things. Your real estate license, your insurance license. These are just a couple examples, but there's plenty more in many other industries. The energy industry, there's a lot of solar developers and solar salespeople who get these solar certifications, design certifications, all these things, right? There's also a bunch of online courses. Go to Udemy, go to YouTube, go to Khan Academy. There's a bunch of different things that you can pick up for pennies on the dollar. Access to information is approaching an asymptote where basically almost everything is free because people realize you have to be extraordinarily valuable to gather a community and to make an impact. So there's so much to learn online. That's where I'm pivoting a lot of my focus, but you can also do apprenticeships in person. Reach out on Craigslist. Go to Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, network and shake hands in person at local town or city meetings and councils. Go to the different commonwealths of business, right? Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club, get a free trial and go in and shake hands. And you might be able to pop out an apprenticeship in person for something that's more relevant in person. So there's no excuse. Once you've identified a problem and you're passionate about it and there's a need, then acquire the skill set to actually fulfill those deliverables that would be necessary to identify a solution to the problem. Not necessarily the first one you think of, but a solution set. Step 3, where you test, goes back to what I mentioned prior. Where you test is ultimately where you want to first retain clients for free and assist people that could benefit from your problem's solution for free, and then work out the kinks and the issues with your solution. You'll probably have to drop multiple solutions to identify the one that works best, or the one that works, period. And once again, 40% of the time is great as long as you have backup plans. Okay, this is stuff people don't talk about. But there's so many confounding variables in business and in operations, no matter what your industry is, that you have to test and actually acquire results with a specific quantity attached to it. We get 62% of our clients 2.0x or higher return on ad spend, for example, if you're running a marketing solution. Stuff like this. Why? Because if you just dive headfirst into entrepreneurship and you approach it just from the solution side without problem, skill, and test, without the problem, people are not going to want to buy in the first place. Without the skill set, people are not going to trust you because you can't perform in the first place. And without testing, eventually people will be upset, frustrated, less people will come to your business, and nobody will refer to you. So you have to test. And then step 4, okay, is you package. You take everything you learned from all of your testing and all of the phases prior, and you compile them into a service or product bundle, whether it's an e-commerce store or a marketing agency or a consumer private goods CPG brand like my clients, where you own your product and sell it at retail. Whatever it's going to be, you need to actually package it into something that could be measurable by someone else if they were to replace you, God forbid, if you died as a CEO, right? You got to create that company structure. So actually step 4 is where you start with the LLC and with the insurance and with the paperwork and with the formation and with the creation of fulfillment systems and using an agile system to track your project management for your clients and hiring virtual assistants and part-timers. At scale, step 4 requires a lot of your time because you have to package everything you've learned over the course of a year plus. Once again, good business and good entrepreneurship takes a lot of time. If you do it scrappy in the beginning, you'll lose money and time faster, but you'll get to the goal faster, but the risk is higher. So you might not, be able to bite that, to make that leap. So it's best to be somewhere between conservative and aggressive and to take your time, especially with step 4, which is packaging. Step 5 is automation or automating. You want to take your business, your package, your model that you've tested with your skill set to fulfill, that you researched the problem for, and now you want to automate as many systems and processes as possible. Installing a CRM, client resource management software, hiring virtual assistants at scale now, okay, hiring full-timers, right? Managing your books. Now you're gonna, hire and outsource different third parties to manage all of the little dirty aspects of the business that are hard for you to fulfill as a founder that has to focus on sales and high-level vision, okay? So that should be pretty clear. Step 5, automate. That's where you iterate the business because you want to drive a higher gap between time and cost to fulfill, aka expenditure, and revenue, aka sales volume, right? You want to expand that gap, and one of your greatest levers is labor and capital allocation to automated systems and softwares, which are nowadays cheaper than ever, and information is more accessible and free than ever. So let me give you 2 examples of this 5-step process so you actually understand. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of Cadversity clients at my firm. We develop products, okay, and we do it really well. And the reason I can say that is because my clients will vouch for that. And we focus on 2 areas. The first is physical products. CPG brands, e-com stores that want to go private label, people that want to retail and have their own products. The second space we specialize in is info products, brochures, 30-page PDFs, pamphlets, informational webinar series, free courses. Why? Because the marketing, advertising, and structural and technical approach to both physical and digital goods is parallel. It's exactly the same. And if you're someone in that space who might, micro compete with me or compete with me at large, and you're watching this video, I encourage you to realize, or at some point you will realize, that they're very parallel, okay? So, digital product example. I have a client, Chris. Chris is the founder of Crazy Dads, kitchen and pet products, okay? His focus has been on developing patent-secured spatulas, which actually sit in my Zoom background. If you ever get on a call with me, which you can do in the link below, you'll see that in my background, okay, there will be these gorgeous, okay, thermoplastic elastomer, silicone, okay, spatulas. And they're not just spatulas. They clean all of the residue out in one swipe of a cat food can, or he has SKUs or models for cans and jars, human consumption, ketchup, peanut butter, you name it, right? Problem. He realized that pet owners are wasting a lot of food residue. A lot of them don't like to be wasteful. And there's both an ecological need and a satisfaction desire to be able to scrape all the goodies out of your ketchup bottle, your mayo bottle, stuff like that as well, right? I know that we've all had family members that are picky about the residue left over in the food jars. This solves that problem, okay? So it's not like a human apocalypse level of a problem, but it has a sub-market need and a sub-market want too, so it's a great stack. So there's your problem. He identified that almost half a decade, if not a decade ago. Number two, okay, is skills. Chris has enrolled in local inventors associations in Pennsylvania. Prior, he had great experience in business and operations, but little experience in like running a CPG brand, manufacturing a product, inventing something. Since then, he's put over 100 pieces of short and long form content into the archives on his website, demonstrating the items, spinning out prototypes, interfacing with manufacturers domestically and overseas, freight fulfillment, and figuring out the whole end-to-end process. He did that by involving himself with an inventors association where that knowledge could be fed forward to him and he could implement it and then also feed that forward to other people in the group as well. So that's where he established skills, at large. Number three is to test. Chris, I cannot even tell you, before he came to Cadversity and during our time together, has iterated the product and its packaging countless times. We put out a survey with him on his behalf to look at different color specs to see what would resonate most with the market. And so all those little decisions had to get made through surveying, iteration, testing the product. He had an issue where the undermold, which is a more rigid plastic, and the overmold, which is more flexible and flabby to actually get around the cracks of your containers, had a crack in it with a specific shore strength of the material, okay? So he's gone through a lot of testing. Phase 4 is packaging. He rebranded each of his major SKUs, he consolidated his actual physical packaging, and he made everything retail friendly, and drastically, with the help of us at Cadversity, improved his landing page quality and the incentive structure and discount structure of buying bulk with him on his website. So he was able to really package his solution, the spatulas. Now, automation, the last step. To automate, Chris came to us at Cadversity, and we largely take care with our clients of steps 4 to 5 if they've already got a concept or a prototype in place, an MVP, right? So what we've done is we've helped him set up SMS and email drip sequences for add to carts that don't convert, using a Klaviyo integration with his Shopify. We migrated him to a more SEO friendly and ad friendly with a lower CPM Shopify theme. We're automating his process to bulk discount things at checkout, his payment processing, and his fulfillment with inventory tracking as well. So can you imagine if you had to track inventory manually, process payments manually, iterate the website manually without the expertise of a third-party team like us? So he leveraged us to automate, and he's going to continue to grow the business this way. So now you guys can see how it works. The second example I want to give is with a digital product. My fitness coach, Hagen Wong, who was in my second video that you guys may or may not have seen. The second video will be in this playlist, Cheap Product Uncensored, as well as on my YouTube channel, probably right prior to this video. What you'll notice is that we actually are business partners. So he's my fitness coach, and in exchange, I run his ads, but not just any ads, for his fitness coaching program. First, and I'll go through what I'm getting to with info products with him in a second, but let's go through the cycle to demonstrate this. First, okay, problem. Hagen identified that a lot of particularly wealthy individuals who have buying power still do not invest in their health and fitness. And they're the most active online, but no coaches focus on migrating with the busy lifestyle of, and I'm not talking about entrepreneurs, hedge fund managers, lawyers, engineers, senior engineering managers. These are the people that Hagen targets for his programs because they have liquidity, but they have a lot of fat on them too, and they want to get rid of that fat and they want to build muscle. And they're not spoken to by a young man that they can exemplify after to rebuild their youth. So he identified a problem. The second thing is skills. Hagen he's got multiple certifications. He's got his bachelor's in exercise science. He was a world champion in some sort of fitness competition in Hong Kong. Hagen is brilliant. So, plus he goes to the gym all the time. And he can muscle up with weights attached to his belt. It's crazy. So he's He's fit. That's a skill set. But also the minutia of nutrition, sleep quality, hydration, and all of that. Okay? So there's your first two pillars. Problem and skill. The third is testing. Hagen has worked as a sales rep internal to gyms and franchises and done hybrid online and in-person coaching, and now he's converged to online coaching with a proprietary stack of nutrition, recipes, and training materials and resources, and knowledge gathered over the course of fitness programs that he's developed himself, right? So in that process, okay, he's acquired enough data to understand what works in the testing phase with all sorts of body types, both men and women, but primarily middle to older age, not fit. Number 4 is packaging. He's packaged his online coaching program, okay, with us at the front end of his funnel into a 26-page info PDF, which has way more value than any other info PDF in the fitness space. He's got exact exercise routines with RPEs. He's got exact nutrition, recipe plans, ingredient lists, mindset modules, and a call to action, all built into the info product. Cadversity was behind that info product. We developed it, and we're helping him ramp the ads for it. He's selling it for $10, but we're about to split test a free upsell to his high ticket sales call. So free PDF with a crap ton of value. Now, automation. That's also where he came to Cadversity. We're running his ads using our SOPs that already exist. So he's leveraging third-party help through us. We developed the info product on a Go High Level CRM funnel, which auto books appointments for people that click through to the second page. And we've automated workflows so that his appointment setter can speed dial people who don't auto book, but who do consume the front end PDF. And that's just like 30% of what we've done. So the automation side is really, like I said, 4 and 5, right? Which is packaging and automation, is really where we come in handy. So I hope you guys see how these examples work anywhere and how this cycle can make any of you successful no matter what the hell you want to do, okay? As long as it's legal and doesn't hurt anybody in the long run, all right? If you guys got a lot of value out of this, the least you can do is like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see in terms of lecture material next. I'm going to continue to do these weekly deposits on my YouTube channel as I've been just goaded to over the past several years. And I'm starting to actually find my cadence, and I feel like this is more of a natural conversation that you and I can have. Two-way street. If you guys are interested in steps 4 and 5 of getting your business off the ground, particularly packaging a physical or digital product to sell your products or services, and automating just end to end, I charge less than 20% of your favorite guru's 10, 15K marketing program. And I actually get you results, and if I don't, I pivot with you or I refund you. If you're interested at all in just a robust consulting solution in the product space to drive results to your business, there's a link down below for my calendar. I will see you on the 4th Cheap Product Uncensored.